For the rest of this program, I'll be talking about proactively modifying the light, whether that be with blocking the light, reflecting light, or adding more light from an auxiliary light source like a flash or an LED. We're still on the topic of subtracting bad light, so we can do that with a device such as this. This happens to be about a 40-inch square-ish device that blocks the light that comes from directly above someone's head. Here's a before and after that shows the dramatic difference between allowing uncontrolled top light to hit the person and then controlling that with a device to block that light. The difference between this and a tree, though, is that this, being smaller, only really controls the top half of a person. Here's another glorious diagram, but this shows how the top blocker needs to be. By the way, you can call it a blocker, a gobo, or a shader. But basically you want to have it flush with the back of the head and as high as the device is long. That forces the light to come from no higher than 45 degrees. Because of the circumstances of this, the top blocker was a little low, and I'll show a comparison of no blocker to just the right height for the blocker and a blocker that's too low or close to the head. This should be familiar to all of you by now. We've got too much light on the nose, the cheeks, the forehead, and the eyes are dark. This is the telltale sign of not controlling that overhead light. Here the top blocker was in the right position, but here it was too low. She's standing on light-colored concrete, and the light from that is being reflected up to her face, causing kind of a ghoul lighting effect. So here it's clearly too close to her face. And just to make it easier to see the comparison, here we have no overhead blocker, the overhead blocker at just the right height, and the overhead blocker too low. I'll just briefly mention the concept of key shifting. When we block light from a subject, but we don't block it from the background will appear brighter. The only difference between these two is that I used the gobo or the blocker or shader above her to block that overhead light. That subtracts the amount of light hitting her, but it doesn't subtract the amount of light hitting the background. Consequently, the background goes brighter, and that fits in well with this high key image where everything is bright except her.